Lines. Senate President Ahmed Lawan urges lawmakers to stay loyal to their parties. 11 released victims of Kaduna train attack reunite with their families. INEC promises credible governorship election in Ekiti State. And on the foreign scene, WFP suspends part of its food aid in South Sudan as funds dry up. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. Now, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has called on lawmakers to stay committed to the political system of their respective parties, not minding the outcome of the just concluded primaries. The Senate President made the call on Tuesday in an address to welcome members of the upper chamber back from the break. The report.
Senate Chamber had on Wednesday, May 11, 2022, suspended plenary to enable lawmakers participate in the primaries of the political parties. Resuming duty as Senate President, Ahmed Lawan urged his colleagues to remain committed to nation building, not minding the outcome of the results in the just concluded presidential election primaries of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), during which he lost his bid for the #1 seat in the country. In his welcome address, Lawan stressed the need to prioritize the nation's security challenges as well as undertake further amendments of the Electoral Act. According to him, the electoral process in the just concluded primaries have thrown up issues that must be critically looked at by the National Assembly.
We have participated in the party primaries at various levels. We have recorded different results from those activities. But as politicians, it is never over until it is over.
In a form of self-appraisal, the Senate President commended the Ninth Assembly for having done well in the last 3 years towards improving the quality of governance in the country.
On the 4th year of our tenure, having clocked 3 years on Sunday, I wish all of us a very successful final year. This country can do better. And this National Assembly has done quite well to make governance better in this tenure.
And the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed displeasure over the outcome of some of the primaries that were conducted across the nation. The Speaker said this on Tuesday at the resumption of plenary. He said the outcome of the process shows complete disregard for the nation's democratic process and promised that the legislative arm will continue to fight for strengthening of democracy in the country. He called on members to set aside their feelings and concentrate on the various responsibility each lawmaker has towards their constituents. "11 kidnapped passengers from the March 28 Kaduna train attack who were released last weekend have been reunited with their families. The victims were released following a series of negotiations with the federal government after spending 11 weeks in captivity. Upon their release, they were first taken to Abuja for debriefing and were later brought back to Kaduna on Monday, where they were handed over to their families by the military. Meanwhile, bandits have attacked the Shola community in Katsina local government area of Katsina State, abducting 8 persons in the process. A resident of the community told Channels Television via telephone that the community was invaded by the terrorists riding on motorcycles in the early hours of Tuesday. Channels Television observed that the community, which is located behind the newly converted Katsina Federal Teaching Hospital, is vulnerable to attack due to its proximity to bandit enclaves located around Bugaji community in Jibia local government area of the state. Although the terrorists did not kill or injure any of the residents, an eyewitness said the terrorists moved from house to house where they succeeded in kidnapping 6 men, 1 married woman and her 2-year-old baby girl. The Katsina State Police Command is, however, yet to confirm the incident as of press time. And still on matters of security, the Bauchi State Police has suspended the earlier curfew imposed on Yelwanzakani, Lushi and Ongwonkusu communities of Bauchi local government following a review of the improvement of security in the area within the last couple of days. A statement by the command's public relations officer, SP Ahmad Muhammad Wakil, said a 24-hour curfew was imposed on the communities following a conflict which started between 2 youth in the area and later escalated to some areas, resulting in the killing of 3 persons and leaving scores of houses burnt. After a review of the initial curfew, the command further relaxed the curfew to 12 hours. This followed an inspection visit by the Commissioner of Police in the state, Umar Mamman Sanda, to the warring communities, where he assessed the security situation of the communities and sympathized with the natives. While directing a thorough investigation into the matter to bring the perpetrators to book, the CP appealed to community, religious and youth leaders in the area to report any suspicious activities to the nearest police station to forestall reoccurrence of such an incident. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Al-Ali Baba, has ordered the arrest and probe of the policemen attached to popular musician Burna Boy, who were involved in a shooting at Club Cubana, Victoria Island. In a statement through the Force PRO, CSP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, it said the police personnel alleged and identified in the shooting at the Club Cubana, Victoria Island, Lagos on Wednesday, June the 8th, 2022, have been taken into custody and are being investigated for their involvement in the incident. Now to political matters, where the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it is ready to conduct credible governorship elections in Ekiti State. Speaking on Tuesday, Chairman of INEC's Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, said the Commission will deploy the bimodal voter accreditation system for the June 18th election. Okoye said INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, was already in the southwestern state. He said stakeholders will sign the peace accord on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the National Peace Committee has appealed to residents of Ekiti to choose peace over violence in the coming governorship election in the state. Chairman of the committee and former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, made the appeal in a statement barely a week to the election day. He urged the people to come out without fear, but with hope to exercise their franchise and vote to deepen the democratic process in the state. He urged everyone taking part in the election to follow due process, conduct themselves with civility and patriotism, and ensure they do not take the laws into their hands, no matter the grievances they may hold against individuals and other stakeholders in the polls. The Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria of the National Assembly has suspended its strike. The workers who embarked on the strike to press home their demands for the payment of some allowances crippled activities at the National Assembly for 1 week. Addressing workers at the entrance of the National Assembly on Tuesday, the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria spokesperson Muhammad Usman said they agreed to suspend the strike following some agreements reached with the leadership of the Senate. The report. And still on labour matters, the federal government has continued its negotiations with ASU as the strike enters its fourth month. Talks between both parties were held on Monday at the Nigeria Universities Commission in Abuja. However, the meeting ended without a concrete agreement. They plan to reconvene within 24 hours to consider a draft agreement. ASU embarked on a nationwide strike on February 14th over the adoption of the Integrated Personnel Payroll Information System, IPPIS, as the payment system in the university sector. Meanwhile, a Kano State High Court has adjourned judgment till July 28th in the trial of Tanko Abdul Malik and two others accused of killing late Hanifa Abubakar. Prosecution and defense teams adopted their written addresses before the court on Tuesday. Prosecution's Lamid Osoran Dinki asked the court to sentence the defendants, Tanko Abdul Malik, and his co-accused to death. Trial Judge Justice Usman Abba adjourned the matter for judgment.
We have today adopted our final written addresses in respect of this case, and I have made an application before this Honorable Court that under Order 31 Rule 4 that the court should allow me to make a comment, a certain adumbration on the charge level against the second defendant, who is Isiaku Hashimu, in respect of the charge on him. And the court allows me, and I drew the attention of the court that the charge with charge against him under Section 277 is similar to that of under 274 paragraph V, which was alleged, which was leveled against the first defendant, that is Abdul Malik Tanko, and they carry the same punishment, that is the death penalty. And therefore, we urge the courts to pass death sentence on all the defendants, the Abdul Malik Tanko and Isiaku Hashimu, as well as Fatima Jibrin, because the punishment of those sections under which they were all charged carry the same punishment of death penalty. That is what we urge this Honorable Court, and the court has adjourned the matter to the 28th of July 2022.
You're watching Trust TV News Update, and still to come on the news, Abuja Millennium Park still under lock and key. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now another look at our top stories. Senate President Ahmed Lawan urges lawmakers to stay loyal to their parties. And 11 released victims of the Kaduna train attack reunite with their families. Moving on to more news now, Nigeria's government on Tuesday inaugurated a planning committee for the hosting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Global Conference of linking tourism, culture and the creative industries with the theme Pathways to Recovery and Inclusive Development. The global event, which is scheduled to hold at the National Theatre Complex, Lagos, is expected to bring together key industry players to brainstorm on contemporary issues plaguing the sectors. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman tells us more.
Nigeria got the hosting right for the inaugural edition of the Global Conference during the 64th meeting of the UN WTO Commission for Africa in Cape Verde in 2021. The decision, according to Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, was in recognition of the country's rising profile in tourism, culture and the creative industries, not just in Africa but around the world.
The Nigerian film industry, popularly known as Nollywood, has become a globally recognized brand and the third largest movie industry in the world, after Hollywood and Bollywood. Our music industry, just like its movie counterpart, has also taken the world by storm, while our fashion industry is so huge that it is bigger than the movie and the music industries combined.
Inaugurating the 24-member Conference Planning Committee, the minister says it will be assisted by 7 other committees to deliver a world-class event, as he enumerates some of the benefits derivable from the gathering.
Showcase Nigeria's tourism, culture and creative assets, project Nigeria's image as a safe and desirable destination for leisure and business, consolidate on our relationship with the WTO and its member states, highlight the restart of travel and tourism in a safe and seamless manner after the unprecedented impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
He says prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, the tourism and the creative industries were fast-growing sectors with a value of over $1.47 trillion and $2.25 trillion respectively, but were greatly affected by the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. Mohammed said the global conference will serve as a catalyst to recover the losses. The committee, chaired by the minister, has amongst others Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and Culture, representatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Bankers Committee. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the Millennium Park in Abuja has over the years provided fun seekers in the federal capital an avenue to relax and unwind. However, since the lockdowns that followed the COVID-19 pandemic, the park has continued to remain under lock and key, despite government's relaxation of the COVID rules. Trust TV's Kabir Lawal, who went to the park, gives us an update.
The Millennium Park was inaugurated by Queen Elizabeth II on 4th December 2003. It is near the former presidential palace, close to the nucleus of presidential and administrative buildings of the city. This part of the park has a traditional and rigid Italian-style garden layout. Entering the park, the rectangular path completely paved with Roman white travertine brings the public into the green areas. However, the park has since been closed since the COVID-19 pandemic, which crippled businesses, especially the hospitality and the tourism sectors. This is popular Millennium Park in Abuja, where it used to be beehive of activities, especially when there's Salah celebration, Christmas or New Year. But the story has changed now. It is now under locked and key. Security operatives that are operating here, we saw them on the duty post, and they told us that they cannot grant us access inside the Millennium Park because there's nothing really happening inside. And if you recall, it has been locked down since the COVID-19 pandemic affected the whole world, and this place has been a ghost of itself. From Millennium Park in Abuja, Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News.
And now a look at the economy, where the Central Bank of Nigeria has announced plans to introduce an unstructured supplementary service data USSD code to improve the adoption of its e-Naira. Kingsley Obiora, CBN Deputy Governor, said this at the International Monetary Fund IMF Africa Department Speakers Series held virtually. The discussion, moderated by Abebe Selassie, Director of IMF's Africa Development, was titled Central Bank Digital Currency and Private Digital Payments in Kenya and Nigeria, Challenges and Opportunities for Sub-Saharan Africa. Obiora said the barrier to entry on the CBDC platform was low, which made it possible for everyone with Bank Verification Number, BVN, to join the e-Naira platform in a few minutes. Special advisor to Kano State Governor on Indigenous artists, Jeddah Garko, has debunked rumors making the rounds that Kannywood political singers are divided along party lines. Addressing a news conference over the weekend, Jeddah told reporters that the Kannywood political singers vowed not to make the mistake they made during the 2019 general elections. Garko, who is also chairman of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu Singers, says 2023 will not be business as usual.
An sha mu mun warke ne a gwamnatin da take yanzu take niyyar yin bankwana da mutane.
Let me tell you that we vowed not to make the mistake we've made before, because we had devoted our time to ensuring the success of Muhammadu Buhari administration. But if you can do justice to us, you may wish to ask yourself on whether the Buhari government has done justice to us.
Yadda ake zuwa yaƙi a ci ganimar yaƙi da wanda ya raka yaƙi, shin idan za ka yi mana adalci an ci wannan ganimar yaƙin da mu? Duk wani qualities da duk wani requirement da ake nema walau a
For Bola Ahmed Tinubu, go and find out. He has all the qualities and requirements, be it in Islam, Christianity, economic status, you name them. I can tell you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has more than it takes to be the president of Nigeria, and anyone who feels otherwise should wait until 2023.
requirement da ake nema na a zama shugaban ƙasa, to shi sa Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu yana da su har ma da ƙari.
The United Nations World Food Programme, WFP, has suspended part of its food aid in South Sudan due to a funding shortage, increasing the risk of starvation for 1.7 million people. WFP's acting country director in South Sudan, Adeyinka Badejo-Sanogo, said on Tuesday that the move to suspend aid will affect almost a third of the 6.2 million people in South Sudan the WFP had planned to assist this year. Badejo-Sanogo, who was speaking from Juba, South Sudan's capital, said the WFP urgently needs $426 million to cover needs for the next 6 months and dial back what she described as an explosive situation. The development comes as global food prices soar amid the Russia-Ukraine war, leaving humanitarian agencies working in Africa to work with funding shortfalls. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says his government has formed a committee to negotiate with Northern Tigray region's forces. Abiy told Parliament on Tuesday that negotiations need a lot of work and has tasked the committee with coming up with the best possible ways to conduct talks with the Tigray rebels. Deputy Prime Minister Demeke Mekonnen is leading the committee, which has between 10 to 15 days to work out finer details of what will be negotiated. Fighting erupted in Tigray in November 2020 and spilled over to the neighboring regions of Afar and Amhara last year, but it has eased since the federal government declared a unilateral humanitarian ceasefire in March. Now a quick look at sports, where Championship club Burnley on Tuesday announced former Manchester City captain Vincent Kompany as its new manager. The Belgian, who is 36 years old, left his job at Anderlecht head coach last month, said he was excited by the challenge ahead. He replaces Mike Jackson, who replaced Sean Dyche in April, but could not save the club from relegation to the second-tier Championship. And with that, we wrap up Trust TV News Update for this hour. Don't forget, for more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for joining us.